The Acolyte Episode 3 is upon us. The Star Wars Destroyer. Well, some would argue that it's already been destroyed, but this is supposed to be the big one. The one where everything is changed. The story of Anakin, the story of Luke, the story of Rey, the story of the Force. Everyone's talking about it. I believe they're going to have massive ratings, but in case you're new here, all right, possibly potential spoilers because there's some other rumors out there floating around I just want to go over before the amazing episode that finally puts the nail in the coffin for Star Wars. I mean, you're seeing stuff like this. You thought Star Wars could make something worse than The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker? You're wrong. I'm not going to read entirely what he put, but it's pretty much what everyone is saying, that two women Jedi, they do something together and they create Force babies. Like, that's where the Force came from. It comes from two women, and they just randomly make Force babies. Now, is that what happened with Anakin? Is that what's going on with the Skywalker? Is that what happened with Rey now that everything is finally told about how these special beings are created? Oh, Lord, help us. Help us here. But I'm all for it, man. I am all for like them just going all in, take a dive into the deep end. I'm riding this Titanic, baby. I'm all for it because in order for something to be changed, it's got to be dust on the earth. And if this is what they want to do, hey, let's go for it. Let's go for it. But now, some of the other rumors that are floating out there, again, these are rumors. This is what people are saying, speculation on how the series is going to end. They're quite telling as well. But they're not having a good week either, Lucasfilm, especially with their ratings. Even though the subscriber numbers have been up at Disney+, they're trying to spin something, man, where it's like, look how many people watched, but not that good. It underperformed Ahsoka, which wasn't their best. It really wasn't their best, you know? And then the funny thing is, these reports are coming out. You know, The Acolyte reached 4.8 million views in one day, the biggest Disney Plus launch in 2024. Yeah. I think the only launch that you had was Echo for live action. Y'all remember Echo, right? I didn't even watch this. All I saw was one clip that someone posted on Twitter, and I was like, holy moly, is that real? I did not see the series. I didn't even see anybody talk about the series. It was just like maybe a live stream that said how horrific Echo is, and they had no confidence in Echo. They didn't release it bi-weekly. They just said, you're done with Echo? Okay, just dump the whole thing on. Wouldn't surprise me if later on this year it just quietly disappears, just like Willow. You know, just like, man, this show is bad. Let's just get rid of it. But here's the best part. If you look down here where it's circled, shout out Nerdrotics for posting this, it says, these numbers are just according to Disney. So according to Disney, that's what these numbers are. This is the biggest thing. We ain't getting actual numbers. We're just getting whatever they can put in a washing machine and mix it up, you know, whatever blender bowl they're spinning, you know, after my man, Big Mac Order 66, you know, is done with the, is done with the bowl. They just shoot out numbers, and it's why don't they just release it? Why don't they just like let a third-party system that they use for other shows just track it and release it? So instead of us saying, you know, hey, we're Lucasfilm, trust us. You know, here's the numbers. Everybody's loving The Acolyte. They love this show. Yeah, and then you have this spin. I'm not going to go into these articles, but right here from Inverse is, The Acolyte isn't ruining Star Wars. You are. You're too blinded by your hate to see it. Oh my goodness. Are you serious? I'm laughing at it over here. I'm not even angry that it's this bad. It's just all you got to do is watch George Lucas' 6 movies. and understand exactly what he was doing. Listen, man, we could dissect the prequels, even though I love them. We could dissect the original. Very hard. Pretty much a really good trilogy there. Probably the best Star Wars trilogy, even though I like the prequels more. And it's just going through different things, like what Disney has done with lightsabers, number one, and how they're portraying the Jedi, and how they just find a bunch of people. Now, like they usually have like two people that act really well, and then they have a bunch of people that are just stiff as a board, and then they just take the lore and they just like, do whatever you want. Let's make something up. And listen, it is Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy. Make no mistake about it. Once George was out, Dave was in, and he's like, it's my Star Wars now. And Kathleen Kennedy was just like, all right, we're going to, you're going to run the show, even though I'm kind of in charge, but you're going to run the show, Dave. Do what you must. And everything changed. I mean, even Ahsoka. Ahsoka wasn't supposed to be alive. She was supposed to die in Order 66. You know what I mean? Like, and so everything's changed now. Boba Fett, as much as I love Boba Fett, as much as I love it, and yeah, some of the comics and the side stories, books where he lived, in the movie he died, but we're just bringing him back. Darth Maul, I mean, the guy just keeps dying, and they keep bringing him back, for whatever reason. But it's Dave Filoni. He just said, I like these characters. I'm going to bring them back alive, and we're going to use them to just destroy them at this point. But look, you go from this article to this one from Forbes, and they're like, the critics must be crazy. The Acolyte is just another mediocre Star Wars show. Finally, from the media. They're just like, and Rolling Stone too. Rolling Stone said this was boring. We did that video. And they're just saying, I don't know what these other people are talking about. Like, what kind of spin is this? This show is just boring. It's mid. It's nothing. This is it. I don't know. And now we've got episode 3. So episode 3, apparently, we talked about at the beginning. Women are the Force now. It's like a bunch of women get together and they can make Force babies. There you have it. So probably that's going to change Anakin's story and everything else. But some of the other weird rumors that are out there, I don't know if this is true. This could be so far-fetched. But I figured I'd just talk about it now to see down the line if they come to pass. The other one is they ruin Yoda. Now I will say this. They come out and say that there's no cameos from older characters in this series. But Yoda was actually in the High Republic series. So maybe they're talking about like cameos from other, events or something. I don't know. But one of the rumors is that they destroy Yoda's legacy at the end of this series. And they're really making the Jedi look incompetent and, arrogant. Now I get that some of them might be because they have just been like the police of the galaxy. But if they're here to destroy the Jedi and everything that we love about the Jedi, if they're here to destroy the Force and everything that, we know about the Force, and that's the beauty of having like a certain set of mystery with some of these stories. Like, we don't need an origin story. We don't need a backstory. We don't need like everything laid out on a blueprint because it takes away the imagination and the mystery of the story. Like, what is the Force? Like, when we saw Luke use it, he barely could move a couple rocks. He's barely moving that lightsaber out of the snow. To today, now we're doing, Matrix Kung Fu Jedi fighting, and everybody's floating and flying. A guy was floating on a rock for 10 years, apparently. I don't know, man. They're just letting it fly at this point. So yeah, so Yoda's legacy gets destroyed. Again, that's a huge rumor, and I guess we'll see. But after tonight's episode, which will probably be the highest viewed episode, and they'll spin that one because everyone's gonna want to know like what they're gonna wreck. I think this is gonna take a huge nosedive, and no one's gonna care. But what is your predictions? Well, that was like a 10-minute rant, Jay. 10-minute rant before tonight. What is your prediction if you have one. I'm here for the train wreck. I've already been through my phases with Star Wars. I'm riding the Titanic, baby. And I'm just watching it slowly sink. Maybe this show is just gonna speed it up. But this is Jay, and we will catch you next time.